All right, hey, good morning. It's Noel here, and uh, getting everything going for the day. So, uh, getting dogs fed and everything, and everybody seems to be happy at the moment. So, uh, just sat down so we can read for a few minutes, and yeah, start the day. So, uh, see, it's Tuesday, and we're in Matthew chapter 15 for just reading. I try my best not to, you know, have any extra thoughts or say any of them anyway. But sometimes it just I can't help it, I guess. So uh, here we go. We'll start with the clean and unclean in Matthew 15. So then some Pharisees and teachers of the law came to Jesus from Jerusalem and asked, "Why do your disciples break the tradition of the elders? They don't wash their hands before they eat." Jesus replied, "And why do you break the command of God for the sake of your tradition? For God said, 'Honor your father and mother,' and anyone who uh, curses his father or mother must be put to death. But you say that if a man says to his father or mother, 'Whatever help you might uh, otherwise have received from me is a gift uh, devoted to God,' he is not to honor his father with it." Thus, you nullify the word of God for the sake of your tradition. You hypocrites! Isaiah was right when he prophesied about you. "These people honor me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. They worship me in vain, and their teachings are but, but rules taught by men." Unreal. I mean, yeah. And it just I might as well be describing, most or a lot of the folks in churches today. Jesus called the crowd to him and said, "Listen and understand. What goes into a man's mouth does not make him unclean, but what comes out of his mouth, that that is what makes him unclean." Then the disciples came to him and asked, "Do you know that the Pharisees were offended when they heard this?" He replied, "Every plant that my heavenly Father has not planted will be pulled up by the roots. Leave them. They are blind guides. If a man leads a blind man, or if a blind man leads a blind man, both will fall into a pit." You know, it's I made a video last night just talking, or yesterday, talking about, like trying to find people that like are okay with not having the answers to everything, and okay, like not knowing everything and all that kind of stuff. And it's like these guys, that the Pharisees and teachers of the law here sound just like that. Like unteachable. All right, verse 15. Peter said, explain the parable to us. Are you are you still so dull? Jesus asked them. Oh yeah. Uh, don't you see that whatever enters the mouth goes into the stomach and then out of the body? But the things that come out of the mouth come from the heart, and these make a man unclean. For out of the heart come evil thoughts, murder, adultery, sexual immorality, theft, false testimony, slander. These are what make men unclean. But eating with unwashed hands does not make him unclean. Leaving that place, Jesus withdrew to the region of Tyre and Sidon. A Canaanite woman from that vicinity came to him, crying out, Lord, Son of David, have mercy on me. My daughter is suffering terribly from demon possession. Jesus did not answer a word, so his disciples came to him and urged him, Send her away, for she keeps crying out after us. He answered, I was sent only to the lost sheep of Israel. The woman came and knelt before him. Lord, help me, she said. He replied, It is not right to take the children's bread and toss it to their dogs. Yes, Lord, she said, but even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from their master's table. And Jesus answered, Woman, you have great faith. Your request is granted. And her daughter was healed from that very hour. Jesus left there and went along the Sea of Galilee. Then he went up on a mountaintop or mountainside and sat down. Great crowds came to him, bringing the lame, the blind, and the crippled, the mute, and many others, and laid them at his feet. And he healed them. People were amazed, and then when they saw the mute speaking, the crippled man made well, the lame walking, and the blind seeing, and they praised the God of Israel. Jesus called his disciples to him and said, I have compassion for these people. They have uh, already been with me 3 days and have nothing to eat. I do not want to send them away hungry, or they may collapse on the way. His disciples answered, Where could we get enough bread in this remote place to feed such a crowd? How many loaves do you have? Jesus asked. 7, and a few small fish. He told the crowd to sit down on the ground. Then he took the 7 loaves and the fish, and uh, and when he had given thanks, he broke them, and gave them to his disciples, and they in turn to the people. They all ate and were satisfied. Afterward, the disciples picked up 7 basketfuls of broken pieces that were left over. The number of those who ate was 4,000, besides women and children. After Jesus had sent the crowd away, he got into the boat and went to the city or vicinity of Magdon, something like that. I'm not familiar with that part. Okay. I'm sorry, lost in thought there for a second, huh? So Matthew now chapter 16. Um, the Pharisees, those guys really start to get annoying after a while. Not even after a while, pretty quick. The Pharisees and Sadducees came to Jesus and testified to him by asking him to show them a sign from heaven. When he replied, when evening comes, you say, it will be fair weather, for the sky is red. And in the morning, today, it will be fine, or it will be stormy because the sky is red and overcast. You know how to interpret the appearance of the sky, but you cannot interpret uh, the signs of the time. A wicked and adulterous generation looks for a miraculous sign, but none will be given except the sign of Jonah. Jesus then left them and went away. When they went across the lake, the disciples forgot to take bread. Be careful, Jesus said to them. Be on your guard against the yeast of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. They discussed this among themselves and said, it is because we didn't bring any bread. Aware of their discussion, Jesus asked, you of little faith, why are you talking among yourselves about having no bread? Do you still not understand? Don't you remember the 5 loaves for the 5,000 and how many basketfuls you gathered? Or the 7 loaves for the 4,000 and how many basketfuls you gathered? How is it you don't understand that I was not talking to you about bread, but be on guard against the yeast of the Pharisees and Sadducees? Their influence. A little bit of that, you know, legalistic, I know everything type mentality. A little bit gets in, and man, you're just taking off with it. Verse 13. When Jesus came to the region of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, why do people say this? Why, or gosh, sorry. Who do people say the Son of Man is? They replied, some say John the Baptist, others say Elijah, still others Jeremiah, or one of the prophets. But what about you? He asked. Who do you say I am? Simon Peter answered, you are the Christ, the Son of the living God. Jesus replied, blessed are you, Simon Peter. Gosh. Blessed are you, Simon, son of Jonah, for this was not revealed to you by men, but by my Father in heaven. And I tell you that you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of Hades will not overcome it. I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven. Whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven. Then he warned his disciples not to tell anyone that he was the Christ. From that time on, Jesus began to explain to his disciples that he must go to Jerusalem and suffer many things at the hands of the elders, the chief priests, and teachers of the law, and that he must be killed, and on the third day be raised to life. Peter took him aside and began to rebuke him. Never, Lord, he said, this shall not happen to you. Jesus turned and said to Peter, get behind me, Satan. You are a stumbling block to me. You do not have in mind the things of God, but the things of men. Then Jesus said to his disciples, if anyone would come after me, he must deny himself, take up his cross, and follow me. For whoever wants to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for me will find it. What good will it be for a man if he gains the whole world yet forfeits his soul? Or what can a man give in exchange for his soul? For the Son of Man is going to come in his Father's glory with his angels, and then he will reward each person according to what he has done. I tell you the truth. Some who are standing here will not taste death before they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. That was Matthew 16. We kind of talked about this the other day with, I don't remember which Matthew, maybe 7 or 8, something like that. As far as like what coming out of the mouth, what comes out of the mouth is in the heart, and and he said it again today, and like really explained it, so much. If you notice, so much, a lot of times in churches, in Christianity, uh, there's a mindset of like, you know, uh, smoking is bad or whatever, stuff going in. That's what he's saying. Stuff going in is bad, and nobody's saying like then, you know, it's healthy or whatever. But as far as what makes you spiritually clean, spiritually unclean, it's not what's going in, whether it's, lettuce, salads, or whatever, or McDonald's. That's not, making you clean or unclean spiritually. It's, you know, what you're taking in, um, as far as, you know, the Bible and that kind of thing, Jesus. But then what comes out of that is the true, you know, testimony of what's in your heart. And it's, I mean, yeah, like, of course, like I said the other day, like, you know, it's really important, I think, to weigh that. Like if you're, you know, uh, in relationships or whatever, or even, if there's a rude cashier or waitress or waiter, whatever, any of these situations, road rage type mess, like there's these actions, these words that come out, and a lot of times what we are taking offense to from other people, and stuff by their words, it's, it's what's in their heart. And it's just it's much deeper than just the law on the top of the surface here that the Pharisees and stuff are trying to talk about. If you notice, they're all about like, don't heal somebody on this day, and you need to wash your hands first, and doing these certain things to make yourself right. And then the words and stuff that are coming out of their mouth are just, you know showing how corrupt their hearts are. Anyway, I don't know. I don't know. I learned that years ago. Um, as far as uh, you know, from the overflow of the heart, or from the overflow of the mouth, or whatever comes out. From the overflow of the heart, the mouth speaks. That's what it is. And it's kind of one of those things that you want to know to a certain extent, but then once you know that, it just takes things to a different level. And for instance, if out of the overflow of the heart the mouth speaks, if what comes out of the mouth, can make you unclean. Well, if you didn't know that, and your spouse said, whatever to you, mean whatever, rude things, whatever it was, then you would just think, they're being rude, and you may, want to argue back or say something back or whatever kind of thing. And then, you learn this, and Jesus is saying, what's in your heart's coming out of your mouth. Well, one, I mean, whenever you have, these things flying out of your own mouth, it's like, what's wrong with my heart? I am like severely messed up here because, like this is not what I want to be thinking or doing or saying or whatever. Uh, so once you're aware, like it causes you to step back, and say, what's going on with me? But then also it causes you to step back when somebody else says something to you, especially when it's like a close relationship, and they say something to you, and you're like, is that really what's in their heart? Because that's not good. At least it could be good. I mean, we don't often see it the other way around. It could be like, um, what comes out of their mouth is showing how clean and right and righteous and all that their heart is, and that'd be beautiful. So it goes that way too. In my experience, that's less often. um, uh, you know, especially like if you're younger, you know, uh, and dating people or whatever, you can learn a lot about somebody's heart by what's coming out of their mouth. And there's been plenty of times in my life where, you know, what is coming out of my mouth is for sure demonstrating what's in my heart, and for sure ugly, very ugly. Um, and that's what I mean. Once you kind of have this lesson, and you read through there, or you're taught, you know, what's in your heart is coming out your mouth. It, if you're teachable, it takes it to another level of, oh gosh, this, like I need to evaluate my heart here. Uh, but also in the same hand, like it applies to everything. Church, um, you know, if you're going, to visit churches, and if the church is you know, one organism and what's coming out of the organized mouth, you know, should demonstrate their heart, the overall, you know, church's heart. And, you know, frankly, if there's warning signs in that, then it's probably not where you should be. Um, yeah. Which is a hard lesson to learn. So if you know this ahead of time and you know, that you're not looking for, you know, just a place of laws, do this and do that and you'll be all right. Man, the more, I don't know, the more you actually, in my experience, so for me, love that, the more you go through this, you read, you know, learn about Jesus' time here, and then even things that, you know, are later prophesied in the New Testament to come. I think we have like a very messed up view of, who he actually was, um, or at least how he acted and, you know, treated other people and, taught and all this. I mean, what did he say to he said to his disciples today? Like, are you guys still so dull? You know, well, if you take a group of, you know, 12 people, we'll say men and women, to be fair, and they're following you along for all this time, and then they're not getting something, and you turn around and just say, like, are you guys still so dull? Half of them are going to start crying. I mean, that's just where we're at. The other half are probably going to get, you know, super mad because they're not teachable. And I hope that's not true. And I hope maybe, like, you know, this is just where I'm at, and there's, you know, uh, something something different out there for you guys, and something else, you know, uh, that uh, I don't know, is just completely different. And I know there's, you know, different churches and different, you know, almost even cultures of Christianity in different places. I was in, Southern California for a while, and Orange County, and, you know, the culture of Christianity out there, you know, is completely different than the culture of Christianity where I'm at, in the Midwest, and, uh, and really, it's hard for people, I think, around, you know, the Midwest to understand. But man, that uh, to me, culture of Christianity, and, you know, the churches I visited in Southern California, Orange County, area, at least, I don't know, it was just welcoming, you know, caring, inviting, all that kind of stuff. Uh, and, you know, completely opposite of usually what, you know, Midwest folks would think, uh, of, you know, the church in California. But Yeah, and I know Orange County's not like the rest of California, but uh, still, it's just, you know, I almost wonder if we're just, following the traditions, just like he's talking with Pharisees today, and not really doing anything else. I don't know. Uh, I will tell you, I think reading out loud is a different experience than just reading by yourself or in your head. Uh, just I don't know. I think kind of sinks in a little different, maybe. But I don't know. I'm enjoying it. Even though some mornings I'm dragging, um, and yeah, I'm gonna finish getting ready for the day and start work. And yeah, it'll be a good day. Uh, yeah. Sometimes you have so much like going on, you gotta start filing stuff in order in your head. And that's me today. Got a lot to do. So um, I'll let you guys go. And thanks for being here. And hope you have a great day. And I will be back later. All right. Bye.